What we learn about in science is an expression of the activity of God the Creator. I think that both religious faith and science are approaches to truth or to understanding reality. I just saw them as two different ways of seeking the whole truth. I like to think of truth as being like a rainbow, which is the kind of range of colours we get when we split the white light. And if we just have one end of that spectrum, shall we say the science spectrum, very exciting, very beautiful, but it's not the whole truth. If we have just the religious aspect, very beautiful, but it's not the whole truth. Bring them back together and we've got our white light back again. I think there are very few scientists actually who would say that science and faith are incompatible. Many would say they do not have a personal faith because they cannot find enough evidence to take that step. But there are very few who are willing to say that the two are incompatible. What we find out in science raises questions that science cannot answer. It raises the question why, if you like, at a mechanistic level. So, why did the frog jump? The frog jumped because it saw a heron arriving. But it still doesn't answer what we might call the big why. Why is there a universe at all? Why did life start? Why do the natural laws behave as the way they do in a very precise way? So the big whys are not answered by science. The mechanisms by which DNA works, by anybody's standards, are awesomely beautiful. And they're really clever. And you think, I wish I'd thought of that. They are really clever. And even the most aggressively atheistic molecular biologist, somebody working with DNA, would acknowledge that. These mechanisms are beautiful. If you were a positivist, thinking that only things that can be measured by science are real, then that statement would be irrelevant. So the most aggressively atheistic of scientists nevertheless make statements that cannot be proved by scientific method, but which we know are true. I'm looking for evidence for my Christian faith. I need to look at the life and times of Jesus Christ, and I can examine that evidence in the same way as one would examine evidence in a court of law. It's a different sort of evidence than doing an experiment or making an observation on the planets. If you make the step of saying, I believe in this person, he's certainly real, what happens if I commit my life, my way of living, to him? We make ourselves open to the mysterious force of God through the Holy Spirit. And we see things changing. We see actual things changing. We see things happening that lie outside the realm of scientific explanation, which we can only ascribe to something more mysterious. And as a Christian, I would say that was our God was doing that. We see miracles. We see people's lives being changed when they enter into relationship with God. Their behavior is not determined by their genes. God can change them, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole myriad of lines of evidence that point out that science has not got the answers to the whole of existence.